Coco, congratulations.
Thanks.
Convincing win. Your thoughts on your performance?
Yeah, I thought I played well today. I served well. Can't ask for a better start into this tournament. So hoping to continue to get better as the 2 weeks go by.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Name and affiliation, please, David.
Hi, Coco. David
Hi.
Moore from the Tennis Podcast. I read the quote, I think, from the court, where you said a week ago you would not have expected necessarily to feel like you did out there today.
Yeah.
Can you put your finger on why that is? What's changed?
Perspective, and I think just, realizing that, there's probably more pressure on, I don't know, maybe trying to win one, and then maybe if you never then defending one, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, just perspective. And, the last couple weeks were tough, and I was like, I have to do this and do that. But I'm like, I don't have to prove anything to anyone except myself. And so this whole week is just, or 2 weeks, are just about proving it, all the expectations that I have on myself. And so, yeah, I think just learning and just realizing I have a lot left to give this game, and whether it's going to happen this year or in the future, I have many more years coming back here, and I'm not going to win every year. So I think just that perspective and just having the belief that I can, but not the expectation that I should.
Just a reminder, no still shooting from the seats. Larry.
Larry Brooks from the New York Post. Ben Shelton was asked about how he felt about you and he opening Ashe. And he said it was cool. He said, but I think it was really cool for Coco. So I'm wondering, was it cool
really?
for you?
He's the one who opened. I followed him. No, I was, anytime I get the opportunity to play on Ashe, it's a cool experience. I remember, I think 2 years ago, I got like my first win on the court. And, I remember the first time I played on this court, I think it was against Naomi and at a night session. And, just seeing how far I've come from that moment. And it's incredible to always play on this court in day or night. Obviously, the night sessions are a little bit more nerve-wracking, I think. But opening the court to Americans, to young ones doing well, it means a lot. And yeah, I'm very honored.
Matt.
What are your feelings? Ooh, sorry. I guess two questions. What are your feelings as you're walking onto the court, and what are you thinking? What's going through your mind? And sort of in addition to that, did you surprise yourself with your level?
Yeah.
I heard you referencing that initially.
The first feeling was there was like, it's been like a thing between like people, like when I wave or not, like between me and Ben, because he said I didn't wave during the Mixed Madness, so I like walked on court and I initially like waved, and then I got nervous because I saw how big the crowd was, so then I looked down. So that was my like honest thoughts. But then once I started the warm up, I was fine, and I wasn't surprised about my level because I was practicing really well this week. It was a really good practice week, so honestly, I was just telling myself that I'm ready. That I had a great practice week. I feel like I'm finding my game, whereas the other two tournaments that I played at, even the practice sessions that I were doing, I just, it was just I just felt off. So this week I just felt like I was really finding my game. So I was confident going in today. I was like, I knew based off how I was practicing, I can find my game regardless of the score line. Then it's just about executing.
Good. Howard, Adam, Bill. Howard.
Coco, is there something that lets you know when you start a match that I've found my game, that whatever you felt good about during practice is translating onto the court during a match when it matters?
Yeah, I think just execution. I mean, decision making too. I think sometimes I could rush out of points faster than I need, and then there was times where I feel like in Cincinnati where, I don't know, it was just so weird that shots I didn't feel like I could make with my eyes closed, I was just missing. And today I was making those shots. I was like, okay, I know, and the ball's going like where I want it to go. So I was like, okay, I feel good. And usually, that first round for me can sometimes set the tone for a tournament, whether you're playing well or not, but just kind of the mentality going in. So I think I had a good mentality, is this going to say I'm going to play great the next couple matches? Yes or no, but I think the mentality I have going into this week will be there, and hopefully the execution stays there.
It looked like you were wearing an Olympic rings
Oh, yeah.
necklace. Is that something, can you tell us how you got it? Is
Yeah.
it new? Had you worn it before?
Yeah, Desiree Krajak actually gifted the whole team these necklaces, or we had the choice between a necklace or ring. I wish I could remember the brand. You would have to ask her. And then usually I try to wear a necklace during like the whole tournament. Last year, I think I wore like a locket type necklace. And I was like, well, I just came off the Olympics and was a flag bearer. So I was like, I might as well flex that. So I wore the Olympic. Yeah. And some people get the tattoos. I don't know if I'm committed to a tattoo yet. So I was like, I'll do the necklace.
Okay, Adam.
Hi, Coco. I was wondering if you saw that Cooper flag signed with New Balance, with the New Balance
I didn't know
family.
that.
He's expected to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft next year. Goes to Duke. I
Oh,
was just
cool.
wondering what you thought about that, if you knew anything about him.
Yeah, I know who he is. I didn't know he signed with New Balance. Was that announced like today? Okay. I haven't been online today. I'm like, I usually am up to par with all the announcements. So that's really cool. I know New Balance is trying to get more into basketball. So that's really exciting to have, another person part of the family. And I'm excited to see him do great things. And hopefully I get to meet him.
Have you seen him play at all? Or?
Briefly, I don't really watch college basketball only in March Madness, so I guess I'll watch more next year. I'm sure I'll see more of him, but yeah, I've only seen like just a little bit, but I don't watch so much college, only March Madness.
Bill.
Hi, Coco. So it was mentioned earlier that Ben was asked, why is Coco Gauff so appealing? And I kind of thought he'd say, oh, she's so charismatic, or she's this great athlete. But he started, oh, she's named Coco, what a great name, and kudos to her parents and so forth.
Maybe because I make fun of him because his real name is Benjamin. I mean, Ben Schultz is a pretty solid, like, athlete name.
Yeah, he said it was okay, but anyway. My question, you might not want to answer it, but what has it been like having the name Coco? Is it kind of fun, and has it helped you? Do you have any fun stories or a fun story you can share about that?
Yeah, well, my real name is Corey, so like every time I like check into hotels or like people at the airport or like they look at my ID and they're like, obviously at the airport you book under your real name, but the person sometimes will recognize me and they'll be like, wait, are you Coco? I'm like, yeah, it's just a nickname. Like, I'm not somebody that just looks like her. And then the hotel, like sometimes like, well, we don't have your room. And I'm like, it's probably under Coco, not Corey. And then they'll like do that. But my dad's name is Corey. And so I guess, they didn't want me to get my dad and me confused when my mom was like yelling at one of us in the house. So Coco, there's like 2 stories. My aunt says she came up with calling me Coco. But then my dad said when he was younger, people used to call me Co. So then he was like, I'll call my daughter Coco. So I don't know which story is actually true. But they both get pretty mad if I don't say both of them. So I just say that.
Jim Trusley, Wall Street Journal. This year, they're letting fans go to their seats in between games and not changeovers. Have you noticed that? Was that something that players talked about, and does it bother you when fans are walking around when you're playing? And do you think other tournaments should do this?
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, there's sometimes maybe somebody's wearing like a white shirt or something. So I'll like, only today I told my opponent to wait for like a second for this person to sit down. But usually it doesn't bother me. Sometimes it is weird when there's so many people because then there's like people coming on the side and then the back and that. But I think, for me, whatever, fan experience, I think it's fine. I think, umpires are pretty accommodating when players want to wait till they sit down or not. So I think that's all that matters, as long as the umpires stay accommodating when players want to wait, because everybody has their preference. And it is sometimes difficult, depending on the color of somebody's shirt, that you lose the ball when they toss it up as a returner. Maybe not a server. I don't think it bothers you as much, but only returner, you can lose the ball sometimes when they toss it up. So it's kind of just your preference. Sometimes I continue to play and sometimes I don't, but I can kind of tell before. So I think the fan experience is important, and those 3 games sometimes go like 20 minutes. So I think it's a great thing. I think it's just umpires have been accommodating, and I think as long as they continue, I think it won't be a problem amongst players and fans.
Okay, last 2. Young lady and then Willie.
Molly Walker, New York Post. Hi, Coco. Especially when you consider your last couple of weeks, does a start like this do anything for you going forward, or do you try to stay even-keeled?
I think even kill, just focusing on the match in front of me and not looking too far ahead or too far behind. Obviously, getting through the first round like this is good. And last year I had 3 sets in my first round here, so it really doesn't matter. I mean, if I've learned that you can start a tournament, it doesn't mean how you're necessarily going to finish, and vice versa. So I think just staying in the moment.
Willie, last question.
Have to follow up. How did you feel about the name Coco as a little kid, and how do you feel about it now?
I mean, it's obviously great. One thing as a kid, I guess you're a kid, so I was just like, whatever, that's my name. But I think now it's kind of cool because like whenever you're on tennis, I look on Tennis Channel or like ESPN, sometimes they refer to most tennis players by their last name, but like me, they refer like based off my first name because like I think just Gauff is just weird, so I think they usually just put Coco. So I think it's cool to be known like kind of off a first name basis in the tennis world at least. And I think maybe because Coco is just so easy and recognizable, people like it more than using my last name, which kind of just sounds like a sport. So yeah.
Thank you, Coco.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.